little babies. May God bless us. God bless you all. Before we start our Sunday school, can you sing our very Sunday school song? Yes, Jesus, yours. Lord Jesus Christ, we thank ourselves for having come to presence, Lord. Thank you for the opportunity to open up to us once again to be in your presence and worship you and learn about you, Lord. Help me guide these children and anyone else in the service to you, Lord. And help with everything go in accordance in Jesus Christ's name. Amen. Amen. So this week, I wanted to just go into depth and make sure we're all confident on the topic of wisdom once again, because we went over it last week. I want to just make sure you all understand kind of what it's about, what the gist of it is. So I'll start with the question, what is wisdom? You guys Harley? Micah?
I'll tell you all your experiences.
Yeah? Jaden, what's wisdom?
When you're wise.
Yeah? Jordan, what's wisdom?
Wisdom is when you can make good decisions and you know what's right and you know what's wrong.
Chris, what's wisdom? Pardon?
Yes.
Yeah? Jesse, what's wisdom? Let me explain that. So you think wisdom is just being smart, like a wise person is just a smart person. But it's a little bit more than that. Like Carly said, when you're wise, you kind of bring experience and being smart together to make one thing. That's wisdom in itself. It's not just being smart, but it's also having experience in something. Does anyone know what experience is? What's experience? Can you tell me what experience is? You know what experience is? Let's say that you made a sandwich 10 years ago. If you remember making the sandwich 10 years ago, it's kind of an experience that you had. It's kind of something that you do, something you've done in the past. An experience is something you remember, right? So when you have wisdom, you put all your past life experiences together and be smart with what you've learned. If you kind of stood on a Lego block 10 years ago, you wouldn't stand on it again because you know that it would hurt you. And you're smart enough to know that you wouldn't do that again, right? You wouldn't put yourself in harm's way once again because you're smart enough to know it's going to hurt you, right? So that's wisdom. And we all grow in wisdom year by year, day by day. It's how we get smarter as people, right? So the Bible talks about wisdom first, starting in Proverbs 3, chapter 7. And that's where I want to start with. And Jesse, could you read it? Here's from the board one, just so it's clear. Proverbs 3, chapter 7. Is that chapter 3, verse 7? Proverbs, not Psalms. Proverbs comes just after Psalms.
Fear the Lord and shun evil. This will bring health to your body and nourishment to your limbs.
Amen. That's perfect. I'll just read that again so we all could hear that. Be not wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and turn away from evil. It will be healing to your flesh and refreshment to your bones. Amen. I'm just going to elaborate on what that means. To be wise in your own eyes, it might sound confusing at first. But to be wise in your own eyes is to kind of trust in what you know over what God knows. And when we obviously when we learn lots of things in our lives, we can kind of become confident in ourselves, we can become proud of what we know. You might know a lot about dinosaurs, let's say, or something, and you're confident that you can say something, know more about dinosaurs more than anyone else, right? That's being wise in your own eyes. To overlook everyone else because you might know more than they do, right? We can't be wise in our own eyes with God. It's fine to be wise, it's fine to be smart, it's fine to know things. We can't put ourselves above other people just because we know something and they don't, right? Yeah, it's also pride, right? If you think you're better than someone else just because you have an affinity, if you have the ability to do something better than someone else, right? That's not a good thing. That's what we shouldn't aspire to. We need to keep away from it, right? It's good to have wisdom, but it's just as important to trust in God. If you're a really wise person should know better than to just trust in what they know, because even if you're super wise, you learn something every day, don't you? You don't know everything in the world. You're going to start learning and learning. That's part of being a human, right? You don't know everything in the world. So it's crucial, it's important, really important not to just trust in what you know all the time. You have to put your faith in God sometimes. Because the only thing, anyone that knows anything in the world is God himself, right? So, I want to go to Proverbs chapter 10, verse 13 now. I'm going to move really quick. I'm just going to follow up on what some writings about wisdom. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 13, and then we'll go to verse 19. Christy, could you read 13? You can see on the board.
At the lips of him who has understanding, wisdom is found, but a rod is for the back of him who lacks sense.
Mm-hmm. Jordan, could you read verse 19 now? That's fine.
When words are many, transgression is not lacking, but whoever restrains his lips is prudent.
Amen. So the key here is to kind of apply wisdom to our own lives as well. Because that's what I want to also teach you guys to do. To be wise is to also know that doing something bad is bad for you, right? To be wise is to do the right thing. It's wise to not talk so much in a bad situation. It's wise to not say the wrong things to someone, right? It's wise to know that you can cause problems with people if you talk too much. If you have restraint on your tongue, if you know to have self-control, some of the fruits of the Spirit, remember? If you can control yourself from saying the wrong things, that's wisdom, isn't it? We need to apply wisdom to our lives. We need to apply what the Bible teaches us to our lives, so we can become wise. Right? You understand that? Okay. So now we're going to move to Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 1. And we'll just get a bit close to finishing there. Jesse, could you read from verse 1? Harley, could you read from verse 1? Chapter 13, verse 1.
The wise son heareth his father's instruction, but a scorner heareth not rebuke.
And then to Proverbs chapter 16, verse 16. Jordan, want to read it?
How much better to get wisdom than gold? To get understanding is to be chosen rather than silver.
Amen.
Amen.
What do you get from it?
Wisdom is better than like gold. And, if you have wisdom, wisdom is more, right? It's more is what yes, the value of wisdom is more than the value of gold, and the value of understanding is the value of understanding is better than the value of silver.
Ollie, what did you get?
Being wise and using it in your life is much more better than having riches.
Yeah, that's perfect. And I want to kind of just apply a story to this verse right here because it's kind of tied to a man in the Bible who actually wrote this book. You might have realized just now that all these verses and scriptures about wisdom are in the same book. And it's the book called Proverbs, and it was written by a king called Solomon. And Solomon in particular kind of was tied to this verse right here. How much better to get wisdom than gold, to get understanding is to be chosen rather than silver. Because he was the one that made such an important decision to choose wisdom over everything. Right? And I want to go to I'll read it myself in 1 Kings chapter 3 from verse 4 to 15. And I'll just set kind of a background of what happened. So basically in Jerusalem, King David passed away. He was one of the greatest kings of Israel. And he passed the whole king, everything that he had, down to his son Solomon. So Solomon, obviously, he was really young. And when you're the king of everything, the king of Israel, you have so much responsibility to take care of. Obviously, it's going to be nerve-wracking. You're going to be anxious about what you need to do. And God came to him in a dream and asked him if he wanted anything in the world, anything that he could have had before he started being king. And here's what we're going to look at his response. So it's from verse 4. It says, "And the king went to Gibeon to sacrifice there, for that was the great high place. Solomon used to offer 1,000 burnt offerings on the altar. At Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream by night. And God asked, saying, 'Ask what I shall give to you.' And Solomon said, 'You have shown great and steadfast love to your servant David, my father, because he walked before you in faithfulness, in righteousness and in uprightness of heart towards you. And you have kept for him this great steadfast love, and you have given him a son to sit on his throne this day. And now, O Lord my God, you have made your servant king in place of David my father. Although I am but a little child, I do not know how to go out or come in. And your servant is in the midst of your people, whom you have chosen, a great people, too many to be numbered or counted for multitude. Give your servant, therefore, an understanding mind, to govern your people, that I may discern between good and evil. For who is able to govern this, your great people?' And this pleased the Lord, that Solomon would ask this. And God said to him, 'Because you have asked this, and you have not asked for long life, or riches, or the life of your enemies, but have asked for yourself understanding to discern what is right, behold, I do now according to your word. Behold, I give you a wise and discerning mind, so that none like you has been before you, and none like you shall arise after you. I will also give you what you have not asked for, both riches and honor, so that no other king shall compare with you all your days. And if you will walk in my ways, keeping my statutes and my commandments, as your father David walked in, then I will lengthen your days.'" Amen.
Amen.
What do you understand from that? Jordan?
Solomon, he didn't ask for riches or long life, he asked for wisdom. And then he said, and then God said, if you keep on spreading the gospel, going in the right path, yeah, he will lengthen his days and make him live longer.
Perfect. Jesse, what did you understand? Is it good to chase material things like money? Perfect. Ollie, what do you get?
I understand that if you ask God something that's not useless like riches, then He will be happy with you.
That's good. Hazel, what did Solomon ask for from God in the dream? Christy, what did you understand? That's good.
You shouldn't choose money over wisdom.
That's good. Hey, what did you understand? What did Solomon ask for?
Wisdom.
Wisdom, right? And what else did God give him because he asked for wisdom? Long days, right? That's a long life, yeah. So the key is to kind of understand that if you listen to good advice, just this whole thing, the whole idea of wisdom, if we take wisdom on board, not just this verse, but if we take on board good advice that our parents give to us, if we listen to our parents, if we follow the good advice in our lives and become more and more wise, if we apply this scripture to our lives as well, God will give us more than just wisdom, right? Who knows, you might end up as rich as Solomon, right? If that's the way God plans things out to be, if that's the way that the road you want to go down and God supports that, then it works out for you, right? You can get whatever you want, you can chase whatever you want, as long as it's a good thing. As long as you keep a kind of faith and lifestyle for God, then He'll give you whatever you want, just like Solomon. And if you feel like you don't have wisdom, then you should pray for it, right? And if you have faith, if you feel like you're just not like kind of living to a standard that you feel like you should live up to, pray to God, ask God for wisdom. And if you have faith, He will give it to you. Because you're the ones that He will listen to the most of your children, right? So that's it. You can pray to close on this. Can anyone else pray to close on this one? Or you can. Amen. God bless you.